Hi, boys and girls. We're back with another chapter of Where the Mountain Meets the Moon by Grace Lin. And we are on chapter 8. There is the chapter art for this chapter. Isn't that lovely? There's always a clue in the chapter art about what's going to happen in the chapter. Minli woke up when the sun was high in the sky and burning with light. Even in the shade of the forest, Minli's black head burned hot. As she woke up, she looked at her jug of water. Since she had used some of it for her compass and had drunk some during her night walk, it was only half full. Did you guys figure out that that's what she was making with her needle? She was making a compass? She sipped it and tried not to think about Ma and Ba finding her note. I hope they understand, Minli said to herself, shifting the weight of the water jug on her shoulders uncomfortably. Minli walked west again. A couple of moments later, she sipped her jug again. She tried to drink sparingly, but even through the leaves of the trees, the yellow sun glared down at her. Soon her empty jug was bouncing against her arm when she heard a faint noise running through the trees. That's water trickling, she said to herself as she turned toward the sound. There's water here somewhere. Soon she noticed a small stream running with clear, sparkling water. She bent down eagerly to drink and fill her jug, but as soon as Minli tasted the water, she spit it out. Salt water, Minli exclaimed. This water is salty. As she sat back, Minli began to wonder, how is this stream salty? I am far from the ocean. This is very strange. Unable to contain her curiosity, Minli forgot about her thirst and began to follow it. The stream widened and deepened, becoming more of a river than a stream. Just as Minli began to think that she should return to her journey, she began to hear deep moans that gently shook the earth. Who's there? Minli shouted. Help, a muffled voice whimpered. Can you help me? I'm coming, Minli called. She quickly put down her compass on the side of the water and waded in. The water was warm like bath water and clear as glass. Minli could see her feet and all of the stones and leaves at the bottom of the stream. As she moved toward the voice, the water rose higher and higher to her knees and then almost to her neck. Are you still there? The voice asked plaintively. Please help me. I'm coming, Minli called again. She took a deep breath and dove toward the voice. The salt water stung her eyes, so she closed them tightly until she broke through the surface. When she finally opened her eyes, Minli almost sank back under water with shock. Because there, in front of her, was a dragon. Dun, dun, dun. Now let's change point of view again. We're going to go to chapter 9 and find out what her parents are doing. Underneath the moon shadows of the trees, Ma stumbled with weariness. Ba did not know how long they had been walking. With every step he peered at the ground, the light flickering as the lantern swayed in his hand. The forest was full of shapes and shadows, and only barely could he see faint footprints on the ground. It was like searching for a wrinkle in a flower petal. As Ma tripped, he steadied her with his arm. We should rest, Ba said. Ma shook her head and pulled away angrily. We must keep going. We have to find Minli. But you are tired, Ba said, and I am too. We can rest, and afterward we will be able to continue faster. I am not tired, Ma said fiercely. Her irritation seemed to give her energy. If you are tired, you can rest, but I will continue to look for our daughter. We should stay together, Ba said quietly. If you wish to stay with me, Ma said, then you will have to keep going. Ba sighed and took out another candle for the lantern. The light from the lamp kept away the forest animals, but it could do nothing for Ma's fury. Her resentment seemed to darken with the fading moon. But as they walked, the morning bloomed in the distance. Its light slowly filtered over Ma and Ba through the veil of tree branches, so he could finally blow out the candle of his lantern. He looked at Ma and could see could see that her bitterness was only sharper in the softening sky. If Min Li stopped to rest, Ba said, we may catch up with her soon. When we find her, Ma said, she must know that she is never to do this again. Never. Now, wife, Ba said, Min Li did not do this to cause harm. No, Ma said, her words cracking in the air around her. She left to find a fairy tale. Never-ending mountain and the old man of the moon, of all the foolish things. Stories are not foolish, Ba said again in his quiet way. Says you, Ma said, because you are the one who filled her with them, making her believe she could change our miserable fortune with an impossible story? Ridiculous. Yes, Ba said sadly, it is impossible, but it is not ridiculous. Ma opened her mouth again, but stopped, for up ahead there was a noise of breaking branches. It was the sound of someone pushing through the forest. Ma and Ba looked at each other. Min Li, Ma said. Forgetting their fatigue and frustration, Ma and Ba began to run through the woods. Ma ignored the branches that scratched her, and Ba let his hat fall to the ground as they rushed towards the unseen person. Min Li, they called. Min Li! But as they burst upon the figure ahead, they stopped in shock. It was not Min Li. Instead, Ma and Ba stared open-mouthed at the goldfish man. Bum, bum, bum! 2 cliffhangers. All right, we'll read chapter 10 and possibly chapter 11 tomorrow. What do you think about where we left our main characters, huh? There's some very interesting things about to happen. We will read more tomorrow.